Good afternoon, dear students. Now, yesterday we had started with the Security Exchange Board of India. Let us continue with that. Now, as I mentioned to you in yesterday's class, dear students, the SEBI was set up as an administrative body. Okay, what does SEBI stands for? SEBI is the Security Exchange Board of India, and it was established in the year 1988. Now, although SEBI was established in the year 1988, it was given a statutory status in the year 1992. Okay. Now, dear students, all of us should keep in mind is SEBI happens to be a regulatory body for the stock exchange in India. Now, as I was mentioning to you in the yesterday's class, see, you have the secondary market. The secondary market is nothing but the stock market, and the stock market, okay, is being completely watched by SEBI. And dear students, SEBI is called as the watchdog of the secondary market because it will continuously watch the working of the stock market. And dear students, we had also started mainly with the functions of SEBI. Let us continue today again. Yes, the functions of SEBI. Now, there are a lot of functions that has to be performed by SEBI because it happens to be the watchdog of the stock exchange in India. Now, dear students, SEBI being a regulatory body plays such an important role. Now, if we did not have the SEBI to regulate the stock market, then definitely whatever the activities is happening in the stock exchange wouldn't have been under anybody's control. So, what are the different functions that have been performed by SEBI? Dear students, the different functions that have been performed by SEBI can be classified as follows. Okay, first one you have the protective function. Now, as I told you, dear students, see, SEBI has a very important role to play in protecting the interest of the investors. See, dear students, please keep in mind, now when we invest money when we deposit money in a bank, all of us know that bank is a financial institution which will be safeguarding whatever money we are going to keep in the form of deposits, and we also know very clearly that we will get back the money. Okay, whether you keep the money in the savings bank account, the recurring deposit account, or in the current account, or the fixed deposit account, we are sure that whatever money we are going to deposit, we are going to get back that money along with the percentage of interest. But that is not the case in the stock market, dear students. You know that the stock market involves a lot of volatility. That means to say, whatever the market is presently and whatever will be the market by 3:30 in the evening, the market rates will not be the same. Why? Because the fluctuation that takes place in the market will be dependent on so many factors. It may be political factors, economic factors, it may be the international factors. All these will be having an impact on the stock market. Now, this volatility in the stock market would create a mind of fear in the mind of the investors. The investors have a fear that we are investing our hard earned money in the stock market. There is so much of volatility in the stock market. They have a lot of fear in the minds of the stock market. But what SEBI does is it helps in protecting the interest of the investors. That is one of the main functions that has been performed by SEBI. So, under protective function, dear students, SEBI tries to prohibit insider trading. This is one of the very important functions performed by SEBI. Okay, that means to say, prohibiting of insider trading is nothing but, dear students, now there are many people who are called as the insiders of the company. For example, you may be having the employees who are working in a particular company. Okay, you'll be having the directors of a particular company. So these people who are the employees or the directors of one particular company, they may make use of the insider information of the company, and they may try to make use of personal benefits. Okay, they may try to make personal benefits with the help of the information that they know about a company. Now let us say now we are investing some money in an ABC company. Okay. Now when I invest money in an ABC company, I'm an outsider. I'm a general public. But let us say there are employees in this ABC company, there are promoters of this ABC company, there are directors in this ABC company. What they are going to do is there are chances that they may make use of the insider information of the company in order to make some personal gains. So, what SEBI does is it tries to prohibit this type of insider trading. Okay, so when it avoids this insider trading, dear students, it is actually safeguarding the interest of the investors. And also, dear students, under this protective function, the other important function performed by SEBI is it checks the price rigging. As I told you, price rigging is nothing but it is an unnatural fluctuation in the price of the securities. Okay, so it means to say price rigging is again the artificial fluctuation in the price of the securities which may really cause a loss to the investors. So what SEBI will do is it will strictly watch the working of the stock exchange and it will see to that there is no one who is actually manipulating the price of the securities artificially. So dear students, that is why SEBI is called as the watchdog of the securities market, because it will try to see to that any type of fluctuations, manipulations will not take place in the secondary market or the stock market. And dear students, SEBI also promotes fair trade practices. That means to say, as far as possible, SEBI will see to that any type of fraudulent activity should not take place in the secondary market. And also, SEBI will be providing financial education to the investors. Dear students, as I told you, every now and then some sessions will be conducted by SEBI in order to give information to the general public. Now, general public, why are they investing money? They are investing their hard-earned money so that they will be in a position to get some returns. But they will not be having a lot of information about the market. Okay, that is the fluctuations in the market. So SEBI, what it does is it is going to provide education to the investors about market information. SEBI will also give a lot of information to the investors about money management, like how exactly they can manage the money that they have, where exactly they can think of investing their hard-earned money, how can they think of getting better returns. All that advices will be provided by SEBI to the investors. So, dear students, one of the main important functions of SEBI is with regard to the protective function, that is nothing but protecting the interest of the investors. Now, coming to the next very important function, dear students, it is about the regulatory function. First of all, as I've already told you, SEBI is a regulatory body. Okay, so please keep in mind, SEBI is a regulatory body. So its main objective itself is to regulate the activities that are happening in the stock market. Okay, so what SEBI does is it gives some rules and regulations for the financial intermediaries. So all of you please keep in mind, financial intermediaries are nothing but the brokers. There will be many brokers, dear students, who will be acting in the secondary market. Okay, that means to say, when I want to invest money in the stock exchange, I can invest money by opening a demat account and I will need the help of an authorized agent. So, what SEBI is going to do is they are going to regulate, they are going to check the activities of the regulatory intermediaries. Okay, that means to say the brokers. That means to say the brokers cannot perform their activities according to their own will and wish. They cannot do so. Rather than that, there are certain rules and regulations, okay, that has been given by SEBI, and those rules and regulations has to be strictly followed by these intermediaries. So what SEBI does, it is going to see whether the intermediaries are strictly following the rules and regulations given by SEBI. Okay, and not only that, it also conducts the audit of the stock exchange. So, auditing of the activities which have been carried in the stock exchange, that will also be done by SEBI, dear students. Okay, and it will see to that whatever activities is carried out by in the stock exchange, okay, the role played by the stock brokers are all genuine. Okay, so the nobody should try to carry out fraudulent activities in order to harm the interest of the investors. So this is about the regulatory functions of the stock exchange. And then, dear students, we have the other one which is called as the development function. What is this development function? It is nothing but, dear students, every now and then SEBI is going to organize a training program for the intermediaries. Okay. Now, why are they carrying out the training program? Why are they conducting the training program? The idea of providing training, okay, particularly to the financial intermediaries, okay, that is, let us say, the agents. Now, SEBI will organize frequent training program for these agents so that they will be knowing how to advise the investors. Dear students, see, we are going to rely on these, brokers, and we are going to invest our hard-earned money. So, you know very clearly that how much of efforts you would have put for earning the money. So when you want to invest in the stock exchange, you will take the help of brokers. And these brokers, first of all, they should have first-hand information about the secondary market. For them to have the information, first of all, training program has to be organized, and SEBI is doing this work by providing training program to the intermediaries so that they can get to know any information. For example, now see, LIC is planning to introduce an IPO, that is an initial public offer. Now, what must be done is, first of all, now let us say if I, as an investor, want to invest money in the stock exchange, I have a lot of doubts in my mind. Now, whatever doubts is there in my mind, first of all, I will try to ask it with whom? I will try to ask it with the brokers. So brokers must be in a position to give me whatever information I want. Now, for example, I will ask them, when is the IPO going to be launched, sir? Okay, then what is the minimum amount of money I can think of investing? When can I think of withdrawing my money? So I have a lot of clarifications that has to be made. So first of all, if I need this information, the intermediary, the financial intermediary, that is the brokers, they should have complete information. Only if they have complete information, they will be in a position to give me a suggestion. Okay. So that is why what SEBI does is it is going to conduct frequent training to the intermediaries, that is nothing but the brokers, so that they can clear the doubts that is there in the minds of the investors. Okay. So please remember, dear students, only if the agents are in a position to clarify the doubts of the investors will come forward, and with confidence they're going to invest their money in the stock market. Okay. And then please remember, a lot of electronic transactions are happening today. Okay. Now, initially what was happening is, now see, for example, if you go to if you want to invest money in a particular ABC company limited, it was like you have to purchase the shares of that company, and when you invest money in that ABC company, they would have given you a certificate. Okay. So that share certificate that they were giving you was a guarantee that you have invested so much amount of money in that ABC company. But later on, what happened was SEBI started feeling that if all these, shares are in the form of certificate, it may become difficult for the investors to maintain all those certificates, right? Like, for example, see, there are many high net worth investors who will be investing so much of money in different companies, and for each of the company that they invest money, they'll be getting a share certificate. Now, maintaining the share certificate in the physical format is very difficult, right? So, what SEBI did is now it is giving lot of scope for electronic mode of carrying out the transaction. Okay, so trading through electronic means with the help of internet has become very helpful for trading in the stock exchange. So, dear students, now in case you have purchased the shares of ABC Company Limited, after 1 or 2 weeks, let us say you want to sell those securities, you can give an instruction to the broker, and through the internet itself, that is online itself, that is the trading is happening in the stock exchange. And who is doing all this? Of course, the SEBI, which is the regulator of the stock market, SEBI, which is considered as the watchdog of the stock market. They are providing all these facilities for the benefit of the investors. Okay, so dear students, this is what you need to know about SEBI. So as I told you in yesterday's class, please keep in mind, see, first we started about the different concepts under the Indian financial system. Okay, so it may be the financial assets, the financial markets, intermediaries, and so on. So I told you that even in the financial markets, you have organized and unorganized market is there. You have the money and the capital market. Again, in the capital market, dear students, you have the primary as well as the secondary market. Then we started with the commercial banks. I told you about what are the different functions that have been performed by the commercial banks. I told you that you have the primary functions and the secondary functions, all that are again very important. And then we also started with RBI, not to be forgotten, a very, very important topic. So, Reserve Bank of India, which happens to be the apex bank of the country, it is providing a lot of functions, and it is actually giving guidelines to all the commercial banks in India, and all the commercial banks in the country have to strictly follow whatever guidelines is given by the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, I told you about RBI, and also I told you about the credit control measures that is adopted by Reserve Bank of India. Again, dear students, that is a very important topic. So I told you in yesterday's class that you have the quantitative and qualitative techniques of credit control. Those two are very, very important. So in quantitative measures, I told you about the bank rate policy, open market operation, I told you. Okay, then I also told you about the different qualitative credit control measures. That is again another important concept. Apart from that, SEBI happens to be one of the very important concepts. So you need to concentrate on what you mean by SEBI. Okay, what is the role that is played by SEBI? What is the functions that have been played by SEBI? Now, dear students, today, since it is the last class, now we will talk about all the remaining topics. Like, see, the next concept is about the financial services. So, I will be telling you about all the different financial services. I will give you a brief introduction of all the concepts, okay, which are there from chapter 8 onwards. So, all these concepts, concentrate and listen to me because all those are again important. Now, dear students, after learning about SEBI, the very next important concept is financial services. Okay. Now, please keep in mind the presence of a well organized financial system. See, if any country has to develop, if you want to call any country as a developing country, you should have a very well organized financial system. Dear students, I told you in the first class itself, finance is the lifeblood of any business organization. Any business, okay? So, whether it is a small business or whether it is a big business undertaking, they need finance. Not only that, even individuals. Now, let us say I, as an individual, every day when I carry out transactions, I need finance. So, please keep in mind, in any country, if a country has to develop, it should have a well organized financial system. Okay. And see, the government of any country, they try to improve the standard of living of the people. Now, what is the main aim of the government? They want to see to that the people in the country are very happy, their standard of living is good. So, all that can be achieved only if you have a well developed financial system. Okay, so dear students, financial system plays a very important role in knowing whether the country is developing, how exactly it is in terms of the economic situation. And now, dear students, talking about the word financial services, what do you mean by financial services? All type of financial activities. Okay, so different types of financial activities can be termed as financial services. Now there are so many financial activities that will be happening in our economy. Okay, now from the first day, whatever I'm telling you is about financial activities. I've told you about money market, capital market, commercial banks, Reserve Bank of India, stock exchange. All those are nothing but different financial activities. So different financial activities together is called as financial services. And a well established system of financial services is very important for the overall development of a country. So please keep in mind, if you're having very good financial services that have been provided in the country, that country will definitely move towards development. Now, dear students, when you talk about this financial services, please keep in mind that there are some important concepts that you should give importance to. Now, see, basically, when you say the role of financial services, I told you financial services is nothing but the financial activities. Now, because of these financial activities which have been taking place, it is helping in savings and investment, right? Now, see, a bank happens to be a financial institution. Because there is a bank, we are thinking of depositing money, we are trying to save the money that we are having. Okay, and on the other hand, we have the investment. Now because there are so many investment avenues, now you have the share market, you can think of investing in mutual funds, you have the banks, you have post offices. All these are nothing but financial activities, financial services. Because of all this, we are able to save the money, we are able to invest the money, we are in a position to earn some return. Now as I'm telling you from the first class itself, dear students, if we have money and if we are not depositing that money, if we are not investing that money will remain idle. In the sense, we will not be in a position to earn any return. But if we invest the money in a post office or in a bank or in a mutual fund or in the share market, we will be getting some percentage of returns. Of course, the returns will not, I mean, see, in a bank, maybe it is a fixed returns, but when it comes to the share market, when it comes to the mutual funds, the returns will vary because it is subject to market risk. But what I'm trying to tell you is all these together, okay, is called as the financial system. Okay. Now, dear students, under this, please keep in mind, this is again a very important concept. Now, many financial services are there which are being performed by the financial institutions. Which are the important, very important financial services that have been provided? First one, banking. Yes, dear students, one of the very important financial services which is provided for the benefit of the people is banking. Because of the bank, we are able to deposit our money, we are able to get loans. It may be for housing, it may be for education, it may be for marriage, it may be for purchasing of vehicles, consumer durables. All this is because of banking. So one of the, now in case there is a question in the examination about financial services, first of all you need to write the meaning of financial services, tell about how financial services are important for the economic development, and then you can mention all these financial services. Okay, the first one is banking. Next one, dear students, the professional advisory. What is this professional advisory? Now, dear students, let us say you have some huge amount of money, okay, but you want to invest it in real estate. See, today, real estate consultancy services is provided. Tax consultancy services are there. What are they doing? They're providing advice to us. Now, if you're having 20, 30 lakh rupees with you, but you don't know where exactly a plot of land, you want to purchase a plot of land, okay, for carrying out some irrigation or any activity for that matter. Now, how will you get an idea about where the land is available? You can get an idea basically by going to a real estate consultancy. Now, let us assume about tax. Now, dear students, see, all of us are who are working, we will have to pay income tax, but we don't know how to reduce the tax limit. Okay, that means to say, if you want to get exemption from tax, we have to make some investment. Now, we, let us say, as general public, don't have an idea about where exactly we can think of investing our money for getting tax exemption. What we can do, we can go and approach a tax consultancy service that has been provided. So what I'm trying to tell you, dear students, is that apart from banking, professional advisory is also provided, and wealth management. Yes, dear students, okay, now you have different institutions, okay, like there are, for example, you have Carvey Consultancy Limited. Now this company will help you to manage your wealth. That means they'll give you an idea. Now if you're having 5 lakh rupees, okay, so you invest so much amount of money in the bank, you invest so much money in the insurance, invest so much money in equity shares. So they're trying to help you to manage your wealth. So even the wealth management service that is provided by institutions are very, very important financial service. And dear students, I think you've heard of mutual funds, very popular. See, this is also, mutual funds also are actually subject to market risk. Okay. Now, what these mutual funds companies are doing is, now let us say you are going to invest 50,000 rupees in a scheme of mutual fund. In one particular scheme of mutual fund, let us say infrastructure fund. Okay. You are investing 50,000 rupees in the infrastructure fund of one particular mutual fund company. What they will do is, there are fund managers, dear students. Now what they will do is, rather than putting your entire 50,000 rupees in one company, rather than investing in one company, they will try to invest 10,000 in one ABC company, another 5,000 in another company, 10,000 in another company. Why they are doing that is that, now let us say if A company in which you are investing money, it makes a loss, definitely B company, there are chances of making a profit. So what mutual fund companies are doing is that, mutual fund companies are playing a very important role in pooling the money from the investors and investing money in the shares of different companies. Okay. And dear students, talking about the concept of insurance, again, insurance is a financial service, dear students. I think most of us have taken up insurance. Okay, why do we take up insurance? Now, let us say if we take up life insurance, we are taking up life insurance because we want to secure. Now, tomorrow, if anything happens to us, our dependents can get the money that we are paying in the form of premium. And you also know insurance is there for property. We can take up insurance for vehicles. We can take up life insurance, health insurance, and so on. So what you need to keep in mind is, insurance is again a financial service. Okay. Stock market, of course, we have spoken already. So we can think of depositing money in the stock market, which is also again, okay, and way by which you can think of earning money. Okay, so a stock market again happens to be a financial market, which is providing us an avenue for investing money. Dear students, we have again the tax and audit consultancy, which I already told you. For payment of tax or for any type of auditing, you can approach some consultancy services, which plays a very important role. Capital restructuring companies are there. Okay, that means to say, now if one ABC company, they want to decide how to have the capital structure of the company. Okay, that is how much money they can have in the form of equity shares, how much money they can have in the form of debentures, and so on. Okay, so you can approach this capital restructuring companies. You also have portfolio management companies, dear students. What these portfolio management companies will do, whatever money that you have, if you have 5 lakh rupees with you, they will see to that your money can be invested in different ways. Some part of money in insurance, some money in mutual funds, shares, etc., in such a way that your overall returns can be improved. So, dear students, this is the basis of financial services. Okay. So, coming to the innovations in financial services, dear students, there is a lot of improvement that is happening in the financial services that have been provided by the various financial sectors. Okay. Credit tracking, look at this. Now, dear students, look at the beautiful innovation that is happening in the financial system today. Now, let us say I want to borrow some 20 lakh rupees from SBI Bank. Okay. Now, SBI Bank, the moment I give my name, my Aadhaar number, etc., and some other details, it will be able to track my credit. That means it will be in a position to find out whether I have borrowed any loan from any other bank. Okay, because if I simultaneously take loan from HDFC, like let us say I've taken a loan already from HDFC, SBI will find out what is my CIBIL score, what is my CIBIL rating. Am I actually paying the loan that I have borrowed from HDFC Bank regularly or not? Okay, so they will be able to track my credit and they'll be able to find out whether I am a trustworthy investor or not. Then they will decide whether they can give loans to me or not. Okay, so that can be done. And then please remember, worry free banking is taking place today. What is this worry free banking? Yes, dear students, you need not go to the bank. You want to pay 20,000 rupees to someone from whom you have borrowed the money. 20,000 rupees, see, you need not go to the bank. You need not give a check to them. You need not give them even standing instructions. Why? Because everything is happening online. Look at the beauty of the financial system, dear students. So, online payment is taking place, which is really helping the customers to a greater extent. Apart from that, paying bills, yes, dear students, gone are the days when we had to stand in the queue to pay the electricity bill. Gone are the days when you have to stand in the queue for paying the water supply bill. Everything can be done just with the help of your mobile banking itself. You can pay your electricity bill, you can pay your water supply bill, okay, you can pay your mobile bill. All these are paid by you just with the click of the button. Don't you think these are the innovations that are happening in the financial system? Then money transfer, very quickly you can transfer money, okay, just with SMS alerts. Now let us say you get an SMS alert that you have to pay so much money to this bank on the 5th of this month. It will give you an alert. So the moment they give you an alert, you become alerted and you will immediately transfer money to the bank's account. Okay. And then, dear students, online commerce and travel friendly spending. Yes. Okay. Now, say, let us say you're traveling from one place to the other. You need to know first, initially, few decades ago, dear students, if a person has to travel from one place to another place, he has to have huge amount of cash with him. And once he has that cash with him, he has a fear in his mind that somebody may steal that money and there may be chances of theft that may happen. So please keep in mind that today, because of the traveler friendly spending, okay, they can make use of smart cards. Okay, your debit and credit cards are nothing but the smart cards. You can have it with you. It is such a small card that you will have, and you can even withdraw money with the help of the ATM. You can transfer money through the internet. So please keep in mind, these are the innovations, different types of innovations that are taking place in the financial sector. Okay, so please keep in mind, as I told you, the financial services is nothing but all these activities are called as financial services. Okay, so please keep in mind, it may be the investment that you make in the stock market, the mutual funds, the banking sector. All these together are the financial services that has been provided to the customers. Okay, then, dear students, now let us go to some other important concepts. See, dear students, if you look at this last module of your chapter, so when you look at block 3, okay, now the block 3, first of all, it starts with merchant banking in India. Now, actually, all these things that are discussed in the block 3 is again about the financial services. They are the different financial services that have been provided by financial institutions. Dear students, all of you, please keep in mind, Each of these financial services that has been provided to you in your third block, any of them can appear for 15 marks in the examination. So each of these financial services are very, very important. Okay, so first of that is about merchant banking, dear students. So merchant banking happens to be one of the very important financial services that has been provided to the customers. What is this merchant banking? Okay, just a minute. So merchant banking services, what you people should keep in mind is, first of all, this happens to be one of the very important financial services that has been provided to the customers in India. Now, what do you mean by this merchant banking? Dear students, merchant banking is a combination of banking and consultancy services. I think you people have heard of consultancy services. Okay, now, in this consultancy services, it may be with regard to financial activities, it may be with regard to marketing activities, managerial activities, legal matters. For all these, let us say you want to take the advice of some consultancy service, and merchant banking plays a very important role in providing this services. Okay, now let us say there is one business person, he wants to start a business. Now, when he wants to start a business, he wants to raise money, he wants to know about some of the legal issues that are involved, he wants to know many components which he himself does not know. So, what he can do is, if he goes and applies for this merchant banking services, he will be able to get a lot of merchant banking services, a lot of consultancy services will be provided. Now, what is the role of these merchant banks? These merchant banks play a very important role in providing advisory services to the clients. Who is a client? A client is nothing but a customer. They play a very important role, and that is what the merchant banking does. Now, what are the different types of features of these merchant banking? First of all, dear students, merchant banking services is advisory in nature. Just now I told you. Now I am a customer. I want some advisors in the field of finance, or I want some advice with regard to legal matters. I want some advice regarding financial management of my money. What I can do is, I'm going to pay a fees to the merchant bankers. These merchant bankers will give me an advice about how to start a business. How can I plan for the expansion of my business? How can I think of reviving? Now, let us say my business is making a loss. I can approach these merchant bankers. They will advise me how to revive my business, okay, how to improve my business. That advice will be provided by the merchant bankers. Not only that, dear students, they provide financial arrangement. Okay, that means to say, now see, I'm in need of money. I want some financial requirement is there for me. What merchant bankers will do is, first of all, they will tell me the source from where I can raise my money. For example, merchant bankers may advise me that if you want a housing loan, the best is you go to HDFC Bank. You may be getting a loan at such and such a percentage of interest. Okay, so what they are trying to do is, when I am in need of finance as a customer, when I go to this merchant bankers, they will advise me from where I can think of raising the money that I need. So what are they actually doing? They are doing nothing but they are doing an advisory service. And of course, dear students, these merchant bankers are professionals. They are not any ABC who simply give advice according to their will and wish. No, these merchant bankers are professionals who have a lot of idea about the various financial services. So that think of giving advices to the customers. And of course, merchant bankers, dear students, they are not going to work free of cost. they will charge a fees for whatever services that they render to the customers. And apart from this, dear students, portfolio management, they play a very, very important role in portfolio management. What do you mean by this portfolio management, dear students? See, portfolio management is nothing but, now let us say I am a customer, I'm having 5 lakh rupees with me. One thing is I can go and advise I can take the advice of merchant bankers about how to invest this 5 lakh rupees in various avenues. That means to say, whether shall I put in a bank, or shall I put some money in insurance, some money in stock market, some money in mutual funds company. So the entire amount of money which I am devoting in various type of avenues is called as portfolio. That is, I've invested 20,000 in a bank, 30,000 in the share market, 40,000 rupees, let us say, in mutual funds. So I have taken debentures of one particular company. So all these together is my portfolio. Now, what the merchant bankers will do is they will take up the responsibility of managing my portfolio. Okay. Now, let us say if I have invested some 50,000 rupees in ABC company, and if that ABC company is making a loss, what I will do is I'm a very busy person. I'm a businessman. I will just invest money and I don't have time to take care of the portfolio of my money. Okay. So what this merchant bankers will do is they will advise me, they will tell me that, look, at present that company is not doing well. Withdraw your money from the share market and think of investing money somewhere else. So what are these merchant bankings doing? They are advising me, they are giving me consultancy services, they are helping me to manage my money. Okay. And then merchant bankers also play a very important role in corporate restructuring. What do you mean by corporate restructuring? This is nothing but, dear students, now let us say I'm starting one particular company. I want to know how to design the capital structure of my company. Now let us say I'm starting a company with 20 lakh rupees. I'm just having 5 lakh rupees with me. Now I want to know whether to raise the remaining amount of money by issuing shares or with the help of debentures. How exactly I can think of organizing my money? I want to know about designing my capital structure. So I can do the designing or restructuring of my capital structure with the help of merchant bankers. Dear students, stock brokers, see, merchant bankers also function as brokers of the stock exchange. That means to say, you know what is the role of a stockbroker, right? Similarly, merchant bankers also, if you give them a fees, if you pay them the amount for the services that they are rendering, they will take up the responsibility of purchasing and selling of security of the customer. You give them the money, they will try to invest the money in the stock market. They will be continuously seeing whether that particular company shares is doing well or not, and they'll advise you when to purchase the shares, when to sell the shares. Okay. So that is the idea of this merchant bankers. And also they give you very quick decision, dear students. Why are they in a position to give quick decisions? Because they are all professionals, they have innovative staff. Okay. Because they are professionals, they are all in a very good position in order to advise you with regard to financial matters. And then, dear students, any type of an information that you need, any type of a help that you need with regard to legal matters, with regard to business internal affairs matter, you can definitely consult the merchant bankers. And apart from that, dear students, please remember, merchant bankers take up the responsibility of carrying out promotional activities of your business. Okay. So, like for example, if you need any technical assistance, now let us say you want to know what type of technology you can introduce to improve the products in your business to make profit. Okay. So that advice will also be given by the merchant bankers. So, dear students, please try and understand there are various type of financial services that have been provided by the financial institutions. Out of that, one very important one is, of course, the merchant banking services. And dear students, as I told you, merchant bankers are professionals. They are going to give you advice with regard to legal matters, financial matters. They will help you in wealth management, in portfolio management. For all this, you can approach the merchant bankers and they will charge you a fees, but they will definitely give you a very good advice with regard to how to manage your money, how to manage your wealth, how to manage your portfolio of money. Okay, so that is why merchant banking, dear students, happens to be one of the very important financial services. Okay, I hope you are understanding. Okay, now, dear students, coming to the next concept, venture capital. What do you mean by this venture capital? Again, a very, very important financial service. Dear students, as I already told you, see, you people can expect one or it may be two or more questions from these financial services. Okay, so each of these topics are very important in your examination. So kindly try to concentrate on all these concepts, and I'm trying to give you a bird's eye view of each of these concepts so that you can understand when you are reading. Okay, now, dear students, the next very, very important concept is venture capital. I think you people have heard about the concept of venture capital. What do you mean by this venture capital? Again, it is a very important concept. Dear students, venture is nothing but a new project. Okay. Now let us say there is one Mr. A. He is having some 25 lakh rupees with him, but then he wants to start a particular project. Okay. And then he comes to know that this 25 lakh rupees is not sufficient. He wants some more money. So when he wants some more money, what he can do is he can approach the venture capital companies. Dear students, first of all, keep in mind when you use the term venture capital, it is basically, hello, PPT batala. So, venture capital is a fund that is available for investment in an enterprise which offers profit, the possibility of profit, along with the risk. That means, dear students, especially now, let us say there's one Mr. A, he wants to start an innovative project. Okay, now this project is highly technological in nature, it is highly a risk based project, but he wants to start this project, he does not have money. What can he do is, if it is a very innovative project which he wants to start, one of the ways by which he can get money is with the help of venture capital. Yes, dear students, venture capital is one of the very popular ways of getting finance, but you will get finance from this venture capital companies only if you are starting a new venture which is very, very innovative in nature. Okay, that means to say it should be a very good project, it should involve a lot of modern technology should be there. So in such a case, if you don't have money to start the project, you can definitely approach the venture capital financing institutions. Okay, and dear students, see, when it comes to what are the functions of these venture capital companies, first of all, keep in mind promoting of entrepreneurship. Yes, of course, what exactly these venture capital companies are doing, it is helping the people who have a lot of knowledge to start a new project on their own. So it is helping entrepreneurship. They can think of starting their own project, and the assistance with regard to the finance will be provided by this venture capital companies. And then I told you that venture capital companies will provide finance only if it is having, if the project is having technologically advanced products. So what these venture capital companies are doing, they are helping in bringing in new products which are technologically feasible. Okay, now see, for example, if there is one product which will be introduced which will really be something new, which will be helping people in a different way, then what venture capital companies will do, first of all, they will see whether this project is viable, financially viable or not. then they will think of giving money to the people who wants to start this venture, and that is how people are able to start up their enterprises with the help of venture capital. Okay, and dear students, there is a concept called as a seed capital. Okay, what do you mean by the seed capital? That is the initial capital that a person wants to start a new venture will be provided by these venture capital companies. So, dear students, look at the beauty of this venture capital companies. They are promoting entrepreneurship. They are helping in the introduction of new products. They are encouraging the customers. Okay, how are they encouraging the customers? See, these financial institutions that provide venture capital not as a mere financial assistance, but also they help them in the management activities. They provide them marketing activities. They provide them help in that. That means to say, see, once I start with one company, I've introduced a new product. Even for selling that particular product, venture capital companies will play a very important role, and they are trying to bring out some latent talent. That means to say, people who are having lot of talents, they can come and start their own venture by obtaining money by the venture capital companies. And dear students, these institutions are also helping in providing employment opportunities. How? Okay, now just now I told you they are encouraging self employment. People who wants to start their own venture, they don't have the money, but once they feel that this project is very innovative in nature, they will give financial support to you, dear students. So they are helping you to become self employed. Okay, and they're helping in technological advancement. That means to say, these venture capital institutions are trying to give importance for introducing new technology based products. They are not going to support if you are introducing something which is very outdated. They want people to come up with innovative ideas, innovative projects, and innovative technology. Only for such a type of projects, if you think of starting, the venture capital companies will come forward in order to give you the financial assistance. And dear students, venture capital institutions, they are also helping in promoting of industries in the backward area. They're giving them financial assistance, and they're also helping some sick companies. Okay, now there may be a company which has become sick. That means it is not in a position to earn profit. So even then, venture capital companies will give them the money if they think of introducing some innovative ways of recovering from their sickness. Okay, so dear students, that is about venture capital. So once again, let me repeat: merchant banking means they will provide you with advisory services. They will help you by providing tax consultancy services. They will help you in managing your finance. Okay, and they will help you in portfolio management. You can decide how much money to invest in various financial instruments. Okay, and dear students, when it comes to venture capital is mainly given to those individuals who are highly talented. They want to start a new venture which is highly technological in nature. Of course, the risk will be there, but the idea is they want to help in self employment. So anyone who has a new idea with innovative technological products that they're going to plan to introduce, they can definitely approach these venture capital firms, which will provide you with the financial assistance. They will also help you in selling the products once they know that the products are highly technology based and it is something which is really innovative in the market. Dear students, the next very, very important financial service is about hire purchase system and installment system. Again, very important from your exam point of view. Okay, dear students, you need to know this. Very important. You need to again know the differences between these. It's again very, very important. Okay, now coming to the concept of hire purchase. Now, all of us, dear students, we are in need of a better life. So what do? We want a better life. We need a better standard of living. So we want to consume goods which are of a very high value. That means to say, we want to have good furnitures with us. We want to have a refrigerator at home. We want to have an LED television set. We have a lot of demands with us are there. But this has not been backed up with adequate purchasing power. Okay, that means to say, dear students, what we are doing is, although we have so many demands, okay, we want to purchase a refrigerator, a television, we want a very high class mobile phone and all that, but the problem is money. So that means to say, we cannot think of purchasing all the products by making the payment in one shot. That means if you want a very innovative mobile phone which is costing 30,000, 35,000, maybe we cannot purchase it once for all. So what we think of going in for buying it in the installment payment. Okay. So this is the very popular scheme. Okay, but what happens in this installment system, as all of us know very clearly? Now let us say I want to purchase a mobile phone, and in installment, if I want to purchase, I go to the particular company, okay, the mobile company, I purchase, let us say, one Samsung mobile phone I have purchased. So they say the price of it is 30,000. I cannot afford to pay 30,000 once for all. I will give 5,000 as down payment. Remaining money will be paid by me in the form of installment. That is nothing but the equated monthly installment. And dear students, this EMI that I pay will be towards the principal amount, as well as it will also include a percentage of interest, that all of you should keep in mind. Okay, now dear students, that is about the installment system, which all of us are very popular, and we all know it, we are very familiar with. Okay, so what happens in this installment system is, I am going to purchase the product, the seller will sell the product to me, and the product, now as soon as I go and pay the down payment of 5,000 rupees, this mobile phone belongs to me. That means the ownership of the goods will be transferred from the seller to the buyer immediately on paying the installment, immediately on paying the down payment. So immediately, as soon as I make the down payment, the asset whichever I have purchased, that is the mobile phone which I was telling you, will be given to me, and I am the owner of this mobile phone from right from the time I pay the down payment, because the EMI will be paid to me in later on in installment. But when it comes to the hire purchase system, dear students, what happens is, it is again a very popular mode of selling an expensive article. Dear students, under hire purchase system, the buyer takes possession of the goods immediately and agree to pay the total hire prices in installment. Each installment that will be paid is called as hire charges. The ownership of the goods passes from the buyer to the seller on the payment of the last installment. This is very, very important. Dear students, in the installment system, the moment I pay the down payment, it means to say I will get that mobile phone for myself. So I am the owner of that particular product. But in higher purchase system, dear students, whatever I am going to pay in the form of installment is called as higher charges. And one thing you should remember is, the buyer can become the owner of that particular goods only when he pays the last installment. He will not become the owner until and unless he makes payment of the last installment. That is very, very important. And dear students, now one very important concept in this hire purchase and installment system is, what is the difference between hire purchase and installment system? One of the very expected questions in your examination. Now, dear students, in hire purchase system, please keep in mind, it is an agreement of hiring. It is called as an agreement of hiring. But in installment system, it is an agreement of sale. Coming to the next very important point, in hire purchase system, the ownership will be transferred to the buyer only on the payment of the last and final installment. But dear students, in the installment system, once the agreement is signed, immediately the buyer is going to become the owner of that asset. Okay, and dear students, see, in hire purchase system there will be two parties. One is called as the hirer, who is the buyer of the goods, and the person who sells the goods is called as the vendor. But in installment system, they are called as the buyer as well as the seller. Okay, and then dear students, the hirer, that is the buyer is not responsible for any loss of the goods if he has taken reasonable precautions. So, the main thing that you need to remember about this hire purchase and installment system is, dear students, as I already mentioned to you, in this hire purchase system, what is going to happen is, until and unless you pay the last installment, you cannot become the owner of the goods. But in the installment system, dear students, the biggest advantage is that you can become the owner of the goods as soon as, okay, you enter into the agreement. Okay, that is very important thing that you should remember. Then apart from this, dear students, there is another important concept that is called as leasing. Okay, again, leasing is very important from your exam point of view. Dear students, leasing is an arrangement wherein there will be two parties. Okay, now see, look at this definition. Leasing is an arrangement whereby a person called as a lessee, he commands the use of an asset without owning the same. That means in leasing, what happens, dear students, is, now let us say I need one particular asset. I enter into a leasing agreement with the lessor. So when I am going to, now I am called as the lessee because I am a person who wants to make use of one asset. I enter into agreement with the lessor. Lessor is a person who is going to provide me that asset. Okay. And for that, I have to pay lease charges. Now, I want a very heavy machinery. Now, let us say I am a person who is working in a factory. I want a heavy machinery which is costing 50 lakh rupees. Now, what I will think is 50 lakh rupees, I don't have money to purchase the machinery. Now, what I can think of doing is I can enter into a leasing company's agreement wherein the leasing company will give me that machinery which is worth 50,000. They're going to provide it to me. I can use that machinery for a certain period of time. For using that machinery, I'm going to pay them some lease charges. Okay. Now, what is the advantage for me? Now, I am the lessee, and the person, the company which is providing me that machinery is the lessor. But what is the advantage is I need not spend 50 lakh rupees to purchase that machinery because I feel it is very expensive and I cannot afford it. Rather than that, I can enter into a leasing agreement wherein the leasing company is going to provide me that machinery which I can use it for a certain period of time. And after using that for a certain period of time, I need to return back the machinery to them. But I have to pay some charges for using that machinery, which is called as the lease charges. Okay. So, dear students, that is the concept of leasing. So, let me repeat to you once again. Leasing is nothing but whenever I want to make use of an heavy machinery, or let us assume that I want to, okay, make use of a particular machine which is very very costly, but I don't have sufficient money to make payment and to take that machinery. So rather than buying, if I enter into a leasing agreement with the leasing company, so the leasing company will be called the lessor and I am the lessee. I will take the machinery from them, use that machinery for a certain period of time, and for using that machinery for the certain period of time, I have to pay them the lease charges periodically. And later on, after the expiry of that period of time, I need to return back the asset to that company. Now that company is also making business. Why? Because the leasing company, now after 2 years, they can again give that machinery to somebody else, and again they will be paying them the lease charges. And for me as a lessor, it is lessee, it is beneficial because I can't afford that machinery which is so costly. Rather than affording that machinery, I can always make use of that asset, okay, by paying the lease charges. Dear students, now coming to one of the very important concept, and this is the last concept that you have in your Indian financial system. Okay, very important. This is about factoring. Okay, just a minute. Okay, talking about factoring. Now, dear students, what is this factoring? This happens to be again one of the very important financial services that has been provided. And again, factoring can appear in your examination for 15 marks. So, kindly concentrate on this concept of factoring. I will just give you the basic idea about what do you mean by this factoring, what does that concept actually include. Okay. Now, dear students, let us say I am a businessman. Now, I am a businessman and I have sold goods to A, B, C, D. Okay, listen once again. I'm a big businessman. I have sold my goods to A, B, C, and D, and I have sold these goods on credit basis. Now, the meaning of I have sold these goods on credit basis means to say that this A, B, C, and D will have to pay money to me in the form of installment, monthly installment, they have to pay. But the problem is that, dear students, I am a very busy businessman, so I am not able to keep a track of all this. Okay, I'm not able to keep a track of all these. What should I do? I can enter into a factoring arrangement. So, dear students, once again, let me repeat to you, I am a businessman. I am going to sell goods to a number of customers and I'm selling the goods to them on credit basis. Now, as I told you, now there is one Mr. A, B, C, and D. I have sold goods to all of them, all four of them, and they have to pay the money to me in the form of installments. Now, one big problem to me is I cannot keep a track of all this. Okay, every month I need to see whether A is paying money, B is paying money, C is paying money, D is paying money. I don't have time for this. What I can do is I will enter into an agreement with a financial institution which is called as a factoring institution. Dear students, this factoring institution plays a very important role. What this factoring institution will do is, now that factoring institution is called as a factor, I am called as the client, and my customers will be called the customers itself. Okay, there are three parties in the factoring arrangement, dear students. The first, I mean, you have one party called as the factor, that is nothing but the factoring institution. You have another party called as the client, that is I myself, I am the client. Okay, and then I have my customers, that A, B, C, and D, those are called the customers. Now, what I will do is I will enter into a factoring arrangement with the factor, and the factor will take up the responsibility of collecting the money from A, B, C, and D, and to any other people to whom I have sold goods on credit, and they will deposit the money into my account. So now I, as a businessman, I can concentrate only on my business activities. I need not worry about collecting money from my customers. Why? Because collecting the money from my customers will be done from by whom? By the factor. Look at the advantage. And the second advantage, dear students, is now let us say I have sold goods to A, B, C, and D on credit basis, and let us say they are repaying, they can repay the money to me in installment, or let us say after a certain period of time, they've told me I'm going to give the money. Now, if Mr. A has purchased the goods from me for 50,000 rupees, and if he says that I will give this 50,000 rupees in the month of August, I have to wait till August till he pays the money. So what I can do is, if I've entered into this factoring arrangement, the benefit is that the factor will pay me 48,000 rupees. That means to say immediately they're going to give me 48,000 rupees. 2,000 rupees they have charged as fees for providing this factoring services. Look at the big benefit, dear students. Now, the benefit is that now I was in urgent need of money, so they have at least given me 48,000 rupees immediately. So I need not, worry, because for my meeting my urgent cash requirement, I can approach the factor. They will give me this 48,000 rupees. 2,000 will be charged as the factoring fees. Not only that, in the month of August, the factor only will go and collect the money from my customer. So I completely need not worry about collecting the money from my customers, because that responsibility will be taken up by the factor. So I hope, dear students, you're understanding about this factoring arrangement. Mainly factoring is meant so that as a business person, busy business people, or a businessmen, what they can do is they can enter into contract with the factoring institutions, and these factoring institutions will take up the responsibility of collecting the debts of my customers. They will only maintain the accounts of my customers. They will collect the money from my customers correctly on the due date, so I need not worry about collecting money from my customers, because that will be completely done by the factor. Okay, so you need to remember that there are three different parties involved. One is the factor, the second one is the client, that is myself, who is going to apply for this factoring arrangement, and the third party who is involved is the customers. So dear students, the main idea of having this factoring is that I can completely concentrate on my business activities, and when I am in need of money, the factor will provide the money to me immediately, so my cash requirement problem will be solved. I can think of maintaining my working capital. That means the day to day activities can be taken care by me, and it is going to improve my business a lot, because the factor is helping me in collecting the money from my customers. Okay, so that is the basic idea, dear students, of having this factoring arrangement. And what you need to do know is, even this factoring services is provided for export activities also. You know that exporting will generate a lot of income to the customer, I mean, to the country. So even in this export business also, factoring arrangement is provided in order to improve upon this factoring arrangement, and to improve upon the activities that is taking place in the country. So dear students, again, as I told you, factoring is again one of the very, very important services that has been provided by the financial institutions. And as I told you, they are helping the businessmen who are not in a position to maintain the accounts of different customers. Okay, and dear students, there are different types of factorings are there. The main two important types of factoring is the recourse factoring and non-recourse factoring. Dear students, in case of recourse factoring, what happens is, the factor provides collection services, and they are also going to maintain the sales ledger of their customers. But if there is any default in the payment of money by the customers, the bad debts protection will not be provided by the factor in case of recourse factoring. That means they will take up the responsibility of collecting money from the customers, they will take up the responsibility of maintaining the ledger accounts and things like that. But one problem is, if there is a bad debt, that problem has to be managed by the customer, I mean by the client himself. But in non-recourse factoring, the factor takes up the responsibility of not only maintaining of all these sales ledger and all that, but they will also take up the responsibility of recovering the money from the clients. That means Mr. A, who had to pay the money in the month of August, if they do not pay the money immediately, the factoring institution will take up the responsibility of going and demanding money by Mr. A. Okay, so the question of bad debts will be reduced. So dear students, so as I told you, there are different financial services that have been provided in the financial market. So all of you, please keep in mind that because it is the semester scheme, your exams will approach very soon, so try to concentrate and study well. So I've told you about many of the important concepts. Concentrate on that and give importance to each of the blocks. So each blocks will be having different units, so all the units you have to study, all 12 units has to be studied for your first semester examination under Indian financial system. Okay, so I wish you all the very best for the examination. Study well and do well for your exam. Thank you very much, dear students.